We're live with you from Boca Ice Center for the M3 Florida Atlantic Owls and the M2 Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Devin Serra alongside Wesley Moore for this third game for both sides. Georgia Tech coming off a 10-4 win over Kennesaw State. The Owls squeaked one past Miami last week. They had an overtime thriller in Game 2, which saw Drew Renzi be the hero, Andrew Rothmich 2 goals. But now you get an exhibition with an M2 and M3 squad. Should be a fun one.
Yes, it definitely should be a fun game. Florida Atlantic's M3 team being the team that's basically defending FAU D2's title, playing against the same kind of opponents that the FAU D2 team played last season, but now playing against the Georgia Tech team in M2. It's going to be a really fun watch with the two great teams facing off.
We'll get a look at Matthew McMillan in the net for the Owls. Finished 4th in save percentage among all CHS goaltenders with at least 6 games. The White House Station, New Jersey sophomore in net. And then to our right, Ryan Graff, a freshman from Potomac, Maryland, 1-1 on the year. Stopped 47 of 49 goals in his debut against Georgia. The Yellow Jackets lost that one, but they had a resounding 10-4 victory over Kennesaw State, those Owls, last weekend. So we get set. Georgia Tech will go from right to left in their navy blue bucket and pant uniforms with the white jersey, white socks with the blue trim, and the yellow. Left to right go the Owls, still in those temporary uniforms with the red buckets, red shoulder pads, the blue pants, and the blue and red socks. And we are underway from Boca Ice Center. Thanks for joining us in a late one from Boca Raton, Florida. First touch for the M3 Owls over the line. Getting with a heap of speed, Sam Carrazzo. He had 2 goals in game number 1 last weekend. Took a shot towards the net. Sam Watson put that one well over the head of Graff and out of play. And tonight, these teams are head coached first by the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Colin Roberts in his 6th season. His assistant, Greg Terranova, led this group to a 5-16-1 record, 5th place in College Hockey South Men's 2 North last year. They were able to sneak into the national field last year, but this is a much improved Georgia Tech squad with some of the additions they have made, specifically on the blue line. FAU touches this over the line. They're going to say, I think this was offside, and that will bring the puck outside of the zone. Florida Atlantic head coached by Andrew Yagoda in his 2nd season. Assistants Kevin Hoy, Justin Grandinetti making his first year as a coach. Scott Grosky is the GM, and Mike Flaherty the trainer. Some big nights for some of that new leadership core, and Sam Watson, Drew Renzi, Andrew Rothmich, and how about John Bayona, who had 2 goals as well. Almost first minute gone in this game. This is the only one between M3 FAU and Georgia Tech M2 this weekend. The Yellow Jackets will take on the M2 team of Florida Atlantic tomorrow. If you didn't just joining us, men's 2 dropped the puck for their first season post national championship. They dominated with a 6-0 win over the Gators. The collection of 2 power play goals. Florida finished 0 for 6 on the power play in that game, en route to a Rocco Bruno shutout as their stoppage of play once again as the puck flipped into the bench area of Georgia Tech.
And this is already looking like the start of a really good game. Both teams coming out, getting their opportunities. FAU skating down the ice, still playing with the ESP that Coach Yagoda preached on them: efficiency, speed, and possession.
For sure, and they have got to find a little bit more defensive play. They allowed one too many goals against Miami in that 2nd game. They had to come back in both of them. They were down by 3 goals in 2 separate instances in game number 1, but were able to finish off with a 7-4 victory on night 1, 5-4 on night 2. Against a very formidable ACDC and M3 Miami group of players. FAU lost handle of the puck. This one is controlled in the offensive zone by Cullen Dorcas, the junior out of Chicago City, Minnesota. Chisago City, should correct myself, it is not Chicago City. This one is dumped along by McLean Boyd, the alternate captain of Buford, Georgia. Tries to reach his stick out, and good thing he didn't touch that puck because it resulted in an icing against the Owls. this Georgia Tech team, sort of a veteran experienced bunch now. You've got a couple of juniors and third-year players in this squad. They also feature a transfer from the Georgia M3 team in Greg Steckel. He's going to be a Yellow Jacket to watch all season. He put up decent numbers, 8 points through 17 games for the Bulldogs. What was AAU and now ACHA. Here come the Owls towards the net. They put one in front, and they were looking for the one-timer feed. Backdoor Christian Ian Aselli goes crashing down and flips the puck out of play.
And as you just mentioned, the Georgia Tech team is very old, experienced team. Florida Atlantic, this is their M3 squad. They're all freshmen and sophomores now bursting on the scene of college hockey.
Yeah, we referred to some of the additions for Georgia Tech. You're right, they do have an experienced bunch with the likes of their captain, A.J. Degliomerto. Cullen Dorcas was their leading scorer a year ago. He's a junior. At his 50th point in their 10-4 win over Kennesaw State last weekend. Shot from the point by FAU, whistles wide of the left post, and it's rimmed around the end board. It's caught up to Andrew Zhang. Will direct this one to the near half boards, where it's given back up to the Owls. They'll go east to west to the neutral zone and retreat back to their own end. Sam Watson, their sophomore, will give it up to Bryce Malcolm. He'll button hook the junior. Trying to be gloved down by Jake Buccigross. He finds some space to the right side of the ice. Through the legs of a Georgia Tech defender. Beautiful move to get around Braden King. Flashy with Sam Watson there. As getting slammed to the boards was Watson. Georgia Tech will reclaim possession. Is that Keschner over the line, the third season player of Woodbury, New York. Give it right up to the Owls. Intercepted, look out, shot to McMillan. Good first stop of this game off of Andrew Hildrum's attempt. The Yellow Jackets taking the most of a turnover by the Owls in the neutral zone. And back to reclaim it, Greg Steckel. Steckel wraps the far side of the board. Sean Connolly, one of those new additions to this group, looking for his first career goal. Computer science major over in Georgia.
And there is a new guy for FAU entering in for the fourth line for these Owls. Mike Terry. I've been told by Sam Hanks, one of my friends, one of his friends, played hockey with him for a couple years. He's a very strong, very physical defender and is very fast as well, can also get up the ice and put a couple shots on goal.
And the sophomore from Commack, New York, transferred from Merchant Marine Academy, which is a Division III ACHA team. Spent time at St. Anthony High School in New York, and that's a lot of high praise for somebody that in his second year as an FAU student is expected to bolster this depth group for FAU, and I think that's something they're looking at heavily, is the depth they need on this squad to be a competitive team come later in the season. Owls in the offensive zone, get it turned over. Andy Hildrum will race up the far wing, gets sandwiched by two Owls, and there will be a dig out for it. Drew Renzi is over there. Defender, look out, massive hit, and they're going to get a call on Georgia Tech for that one. They're calling the hit on Greg Steckel, or from Greg Steckel. Decking his man to the boards. I think that was Joseph Lozeritis. But Owls will go to their first power play of the night.
He got absolutely blown up on that play. I'm sure the referees probably saw that he didn't have the puck on him when he got hit, probably resulting in that 2-minute roughing.
Power play on the board for the Owls. They were very successful against Miami and the special teams. They'll dig in to the right of Brian Graff. The near half boards. Big collision. Tie up at the end boards. Trying to fray that up is Renzi. He wears number 11. There's Sam Carozzo, wearing number 9 for FAU. Reclaim the puck on the power play up to the point there. holding the line to the left for Watson. Finds Renzi behind the net. He'll post up. Watson got it back. He'll hook and lose handle of it. He gets help from the blue line, but they are not able to keep the zone. Good pressure by Keegan Goodell. Pesky Georgia Tech penalty kill. They keep the pressure going in the Owls zone as Watson just tries to direct traffic and get their forecheck breakout started. Racing up left wing. Drop pass to the middle. Here's Rothamich. 2 goals in their 5-4 overtime victory over Miami, but it's stolen away. Georgia Tech, Degliumberto will dump and have a lone man to race it with McLean Boyd, one of their alternate captains. 37 to go in the Owls' first power play of the game. Left wing, Carrozzo gets bumped off the puck. Joshua Lee has help from Braden King, and he gets it turned over. Carrozzo keeps the offensive zone. Here's a chance for Renzi. Good stop by Graff on the lone shot from Renzi. Push to that far corner. Surveys his options. Nobody home. He was trying to connect with either Rothamich or Carrozzo, but neither one of them saw the puck, and that will do it for the Owls' first power play. Steal by Cullen Dorcas. And Sawyer Howe gets through. Georgia Tech trying to get on the attack. They keep the play cycled from the half-boards in. Dorcas and Sawyer Howe to chase after it. Owls reverse field. Official nearly caught up in the play as some open ice. Sidestep hop by, I thought that was Carrozzo, rather Buccigross. And a slamming hit, physical start to this one for the Yellow Jackets and Aiden Roy. And there's going to be a delayed penalty coming up, and it's potentially a trip at center. Both players fell to the ice from Georgia Tech and FAU. Let's see what the call is on. And they're going to send an Owl here. It's Justin Lopes. They're going to call interference. So a pair of 20s get to sit.
And just as we expected this game to start, very physical, very fast. Georgia Tech, maybe a little bit of tempers flaring a little bit early in this game. It starts tight.
Georgia Tech, power play to start this one. Devin Serra, Wesley Moore with you from Boca Ice Center in this exhibition. Men's 2, Georgia Tech. FAU, men's 3. Both new teams in the ACHA this season. Georgia Tech hailing from the ACCHL this season, which has a lot of prominent M2 programs, the likes of High Point, Rowan, among a few others. Some new SEC teams. There's a shot that whistles wide, top of the right point by right circle by Sawyer Howe. Drew Renzi on this kill. As it coughed up, McLean Boyd wants to stretch things out in front of the scorer's stand. They dig away at it. And coming away with the puck, Sawyer Howe. Now gets past one defender. Rothamich keeps him honest. They'll cycle it deeper behind the end boards. 1:08 left in the power play. And a miscommunication as McLean Boyd was not ready to receive it at the top of the point. Boyd gets it started. Jack Golick on side shot and off the knob of the stick of Matthew McMillan. I believe that came on a wrister by McLean Boyd.
And Matthew McMillan's been very impressive so far this game, stopping that shot and stopping a couple others that have come at him really quick.
Yeah, McMillan is a solid goaltender among a program that has a couple of them, obviously Rocco Bruno. But McMillan started the majority of games last year, went 8-3-0 with a 3.02 goals against average, .901. There's a nice glove stop off of Joshua Lee's wrister. And at Nationals last year, this men's 3 group got into the M2 tournament based on Richmond dropping out, and as a condition, they needed another team to fill that 20-team field. But he played pretty well. 2 games, went 1-1, stopped 99 of 110 shots. Just tells you how much they faced defensively. There's an attempt from the right circle by Dorcas that is stopped by McMillan. 30 to go in the power play. They'll go from the point to the slot area. Up for grabs, and Georgia Tech thinks it's in. No signal, and now there is. They score. The Yellow Jackets crashed the net. McMillan gave up the rebound, and they able to put it home on their first power play attempt from Jack Golick.
And that was a great second effort by Jack Golick to just see the puck that was spit up by Matthew McMillan and just pop it right in the back of the net.
Yeah, we were just pumping McMillan's tires. The fact that he is a very good goaltender. However, that one he's not able to smother, and it leaves a prime rebound opportunity with 2 Georgia Tech forwards to crash the net, and that's what happens when you don't have defensive players coming in there to clean the puck out. So a nice follow through for the leading goal scorer from last year for the Yellow Jackets, the Gilbert's Illinois native, and there was another one on McMillan that this time he doesn't allow a rebound. A nice sprawling stop.
That was really impressive. He was going one way. The player shot it the other way. He reaches out with his glove and is just barely able to grab that puck. Really impressive.
Yeah, and that's a good attempt for Georgia Tech in that they are trying to ride some of that momentum. They have looked like a physical group. We've already had a roughing penalty in this game. Centering attempt, nobody home except a blue and a red and white sweater. This is Drew Renzi with a heap of speed. Knifes at the puck, knocked down, up to the point, and unable. Oh man, what a good keep that was. That time by, not sure in a moment. Gosh, man, the temporary numbers, right? James Janitek,
Yeah.
thank you. Full transparency here. We should know him, but yeah, FAU fans know. This one is D-to-D pass. True Renzi. We've been here a while now. What is this, hour 5 for us? I don't know when you got here, but it's, I think, 10 o'clock Eastern, and they score! Georgia Tech with another quick answer. And this one, leading the line, Levi Miller. And just like that, 2-0 Yellow Jackets. A shot from the left side. McMillan, tough play. It looked like it got over his shoulders. And another goal scored by the Bethesda, Maryland freshman from St. John's College High School in Maryland. And to my knowledge, that's his first career ACHA goal.
And these defensive issues really becoming more and more apparent for these Florida Atlantic M3 Owls, as they've come back from deficits like this before, 0-3, but to give up these 2 quick goals this quick early in the game, it's something's got to be fixed.
Still a lot of time left, obviously. It's early in the season, too. They're, like we mentioned in the show last week, a very young bunch, a lot of new players on this team, as many as 11, and they're still trying to get the kinks worked out in the forecheck. You might see on the side of your screen a FAU player hobbling to the locker room.
Is that 18 or 10? I can't tell.
I believe number 18. Assist on that goal goes to Pranay Prasanna for Georgia Tech, number 14. So heading to the locker room, James Janitek for FAU. We'll keep you updated on his status as this one goes along. 2 minutes on the board, another FAU penalty, and Georgia Tech is back on the power play. Very eerily similar start to Miami last week in game number 1. Sitting for 2 minutes, Michael Terry. Georgia Tech from the point. Turnaround dump. Reclaimed in the neutral zone. For holding is the call on Michael Terry. Yellow Jackets are 1 for 1 on the power play in this game from the point. They'll look to cross field. Left side of the ice. Shot of McMillan. Rebound given up. Up for grabs. Still loose in the backhander. McMillan was ready for on the far side by Cullen Dorcas. .8:11 in the first period left. 10:20 Eastern time. I was finishing a point earlier that we have been here for 5 hours. Forgive us. And we need a coffee. So if you're at Boca Ice Center, please deliver a coffee to the balcony. Backhander on McMillan. Another rebound given up. He's down on the ice, and he'll finally put his hands down on it.
That was a great job tracking the puck by Matthew McMillan. A bunch of players around him getting really crowded. A bunch of people going for the puck. Just finds the puck, puts his glove on top of it, going to the face-off.
Shout out to Sterling, hope I say your last name right, Calagaris, longtime Georgia Tech supporter. He's not at long time, but Sterling is a wonderful commentator for Georgia Tech. Unfortunately, his group could not make the trip this weekend, but he did give us a lot of notes on this Georgia Tech squad, which has seen a lot of changes and a lot of promise for Colin Roberts' group. And Sterling, wherever you're watching, we appreciate all of your support. And good luck with your production team this year. They got a raucous environment they play at in Georgia, too. They get the band going. Student section packs their games. I think the arena is the Atlanta Ice Forum, if I'm not mistaken.
Dang.
It's a very, very great program. A lot of awesome support, both on and off the ice. And this Georgia Tech team is looking to improve from what was a 5-win season a year ago. 8 minutes left. This is 4-on-4. We have been missing this one from my rambling. We have 4-on-4 for the next 3 seconds before an FAU power play. So out of the box finally comes Drew Renzi. After Terry served that penalty initially. Penalty, by the way, is on Sawyer Howe. So 1 for 2 went the Yellow Jackets. Owls still 0 for 1. Wrapped around the boards. Renzi gets it back, scoops into himself, looking for his options in front. He gets it to one man, and whiffing on that shot attempt was Rothamich, and Renzi threw his arms up in the air because he put that one on a platter.
It was perfectly passed to him. It should have been tipped right into the top corner of the net. Really unfortunate play.
Just a loss of focus there from Rothamich, a guy you typically don't expect to make a mistake like that. We'll see if he gets redemption. This one is in the air, gloved by Ryan Graff. They'll wrap the near side of the boards up to the point. Looking for power play options. Renzi has it back, quarterbacking this power play. Another attempt from Rothamich, and this one he got better of the shot, but it whistled wide. And that allows Georgia Tech with space from Degliumberto to clear the length of the ice. 5:51 to go in this first period. 2 opening period goals. The first one from Jack Golick on the power play, and then Levi Miller most recently. Yellow Jackets out of their own zone. Calling for it, Braden King. King finishes his check. FAU gets it back in their own zone. Button hooking. Carter Baker, the freshman of Waterville, Ohio. Low in effort on this shift for Baker. Help with his line mate, Bartoshevich. Slamming to the boards. Georgia Tech forward. John Bayona. And we got a whistle, and we may have a call here.
I think there was roughing in the back, a couple little scuffle after that big hit.
It's on number 42 for Georgia Tech, Andrew Zhang. And that will bring the Owls to another power play. So like Wes said, roughing 5:03 in the first, and if you're FAU right now, kind of feels like you need one here to give yourself some life.
And you can't forget about the Miami game, the first one of the season, where they were down 0-3 and came back from a 4-1 deficit to end up winning the game 7-4.
The comeback kids early in this season. Carrazzo tried to put one on net. It was blocked off the skate blade of McLean Boyd. He gets it back, however, up to the point. They'll take one through a number of bodies, and a great shift by Boyd. Another deflection off his skate, and he'll take it alone on the shorthanded dump. He'll go back to the bench now. Solid shift for the sophomore out of Buford, Georgia. FAU tries to reclaim their forecheck. They'll get onside. Trying to team up there. It was Bayona. Up to the point, some open ice to shoot at. Clapper off the back of Degliumberto and out of the zone. 1 minute gone in FAU's second power play. Calling for the stretch pass. Bayona just needs a tip onside. They have to race for a change with a tired group. Get that second power play unit out there. Behind the goal, McMillan will stop puck's momentum for Jake Buccigross. And they'll start the breakout with a heap of speed. Drew Renzi. Hemming the boards. Renzi gets it back. Looks for his options. Rothamich wants it. Nice defensive play made by Steckel. And now to clean up on the far end, Levi Miller. Another solid kill for the Yellow Jackets. And barring a rush, 10 seconds to go in this power, Delaware, Ohio. 6 games last year with men's 2. Andrew Yagoda said he's making an effort to elevate his game. Somebody that Andrew Yagoda is leaning on to lead a group of young M3 Owls, the junior. So 2:48 left. A solid answer by FAU. Now Georgia Tech has something to say about it. They'll win the faceoff, but a tie-up at the near blue line. They're not able to hold the zone. The Yellow Jackets are. FAU regains the puck by their defenseman. Intercepted up the far board, Sean Connolly. And here's John Bayona. Impressive freshman, 2 goals last week against Miami. He's going to make a lone shift effort here. Carried the puck for a long time. Owls come with numbers. Bayona's got it, and it's knocked away by Boyd. Put one in the middle for Buccigross. Up in the air. Graf stopped it once, and he made a right pad stop on the backhand attempt by Justin Lopes. Buccigross has it, and we've got an arm in the air, and another penalty is coming up. Looks to be on FAU. They're pointing towards Bayona, and he's saying, what did I do? We're going to find out right now.
Bayona kind of double-checked the guy in the other side of the ice. I think it's going to be roughing on John Bayona.
Now, there is a conversation being had between the head official and linesman. 4-person officiating crew tonight. And the linesman, head of the dots, will come away to get explanation. We'll hear it in a moment, but it is a penalty on John Bayona. So the Yellow Jackets, who are already 1 for 2, go back to the man advantage. Face-off 1. Shot towards McMillan. The rebound, a loose, and they're going to say that stayed out. That puck was on the goal line. McMillan made the initial stop on the left post, and there was a rebound opportunity squeaked behind him, and he had to glove it away.
Kind of a last-ditch effort by McMillan to just stop that puck from barely going in.
It had to be on the line.
It was really
super close. Yeah. Nonetheless, Georgia Tech wins another face-off. They tried to put one toward the goal. Self-inflicted block on Sawyer Howell's skates. They'll cycle up the near corner. Joshua Lee gets away from defenders. Jack Golick, who already has a goal in this game, the opening power play goal. And just trying to have this one on the boards is an Owl defender. They can't do it. Sawyer Howell gives it back. Shot towards the goal, underneath the legs. Yellow Jackets doing a good job holding the line here. They have another keep at the blue line, this time by Joshua Lee. Lee's calling for it. They get an opposite man and put one on McMillan. I believe his stick blade got a piece of the puck. Up to the point once again. They want to put it deeper. Cullen Dorcas. Up to McLean Boyd. Dorcas and Boyd, those two have touched the puck a lot so far. 47 to go in the period. Trying to go backdoor feed for Dorcas, and he was too far away. Sam Watson on this kill, trying to make them work for it. Dorcas to the net, shot, rebound given up, loose, and it's swallowed up by McMillan with some more shoving as Sawyer Howell's got the back of somebody's jersey in blue and red. And a little more pushing, a little more shoving. That's Joseph Lozeritis with a word for Howell.
FAU's definitely proven themselves to be a fiery team out on the ice. One of their players, A.J. Berry, serving a one-game suspension for a fight last week that occurred in overtime.
And interesting you bring that up. This is not a shortened FAU group tonight as Michael Terry fills in this lineup, but you know, Matthew McMillan right now, he's given up a couple of rebounds here that are very concerning just for this game. Solid goaltender. Georgia Tech is making the most of that. They have crashed the net well so far in this game. Left side of the ice, cross ice pass, Dorcas! McMillan made the stop with his glove. 12 to go. Backhander, and that one is smothered up once again by the FAU netminder. 9 seconds left. The game clock and power play time are synced. So you've got essentially one last face-off. Maybe one more after that. To the left of McMillan. Won by the Owls, but given up. Dorcas, 4 seconds left, loose in the middle, and an Owl sweater finds it down the length of the ice. That'll do it for 20 minutes so far. The Yellow Jackets come out swinging. Power play goals from Jack Golick and followed up even strength by Levi Miller. Give them the lead, answered by Sam Watson late. We'll resume in 15 minutes, 2-1. Georgia Tech leads. You're listening and watching FAU Men's 3 Hockey on Owl TV. Watson. Matt McMillan has given up some rebound attempts and hasn't had a whole lot of help from his defense, but they looked better at the second half of that first.
Yeah, and this game hasn't been much different than what we've seen these last two games, as you mentioned, against Miami, going down 3-0, now down 2-0, 8 minutes to go, still in the period, scored a goal, Sam Watson, making it 2-1. It's still anyone's game. Anything can happen. It's college hockey, and we still got 2 periods of hockey to go.
Absolutely, and this Georgia Tech team is much improved from the previous season. You know, they had the split in a competitive game against Georgia, which that is a really, really good Georgia M2 team this year. They took care of business against Kennesaw State. You really get the sense that those top guys are the bulk of their scoring, but they also make guys around them better. We're talking about Colin Dorcas, Jack Golick. We've said Joshua Lee's name a lot tonight. So these are some very solid top 6 and top defenseman players for Georgia Tech. And of course, they have a solid as they come goaltender in Ryan Graff. This is a freshman. This is a sophomore in McMillan who swallows this one up. And we resume 5-on-5. We have not had a lot of that in this game. Georgia Tech is 1 for 3 on the power play tonight. FAU 0 for 2. Much of the same for Andrew Yagoda's squad in their second season as a program. Shot from the high slot, saved off the low pads by McMillan. Coughed it up, turnover by the Owls, putting it in prime slot opportunity for Prasanna, and it's sticked away to the far boards. Now cross-ice fed and dumped along the near wing by Connor Moriarty. Moriarty, a sophomore, tries to get help with John Bayona. Down to the sophomore of Royal Palm Beach, Florida. 1 goal last weekend, his first of his ACHA career. Bayona gets it back, has a man in the middle with the attack. He gets fished out by Joshua Lee. Those two, Georgia Tech, get it from the high point, and they will begin the break a little bit out, but look out. We've got a Georgia Tech player down behind the play. They're going to call the whistle finally. That's McLean Boyd, number 23, down in front of the Florida Atlantic logo.
And this FAU team has played a lot of
and the officials wanted to segue over a trainer. It's good to see McLean Boyd get to his feet. Awkward collision at the far boards, just over the Georgia Tech blue line. He will skate gingerly back to the bench. Looks okay, might have just had the wind knocked out of him. 19:03 to go in this first. No infractions will come from either side on that. Face off in the neutral zone. AJ Degliumberto. As a reminder, this is technically an exhibition game. It will count on the official record. However, will not have implication in the rankings, as Georgia Tech is an M2 team from the ACCHL, FAU, M3, College Hockey South. And a puck got flipped into the bench area by a Georgia Tech player. Think to yourself, with these early slate games, it's a little awkward seeing those kinds of M2, M3, but this is a kind of matchup that FAU can get better at. Georgia Tech, coming off a tough year, can find their game a little bit. They have a tough game tomorrow against a men's 2 group, West, that just shut out Florida.
Yeah.
Greg scored his first goal as a Yellow Jacket against Kennesaw State. That shot was blocked in front, attempted by Michael Terry, who you alluded to as a pretty cool story, Wes. Physical guy, works his behind off, as they say. From the point, it's dumped in, and Georgia Tech needs fresh line changes because they had a tired group out there for the last minute and a half. Nearly intercepted. Wanting to put that one on net was Cullen Dorcas. It never got through. Chased after by Jack Golick. Oh, power play goal scorer early in the first for Georgia Tech. Half board. Tie up ensues. This one skitters free. Comes to the stick of Carter Baker, who will give it right back up. And you're seeing some back and forth. Georgia Tech, though, has a lane. Trying to get inside. Well, stopping behind the goal and waiting for numbers was Andrew Zhang. Another battle. Jake Buccigross will flip it out of play with Jack Golick.
Yeah, and this game started basically interlocked like this for the first couple minutes. Then, of course, Georgia Tech comes with those 2 goals. FAU responds back with their 1 goal. And now at the start of the second period, we're kind of back. We're back at that interlocked period where both teams, none of them seem to have the edge.
Yeah, it's a little bit sloppy, unsuccinct plays. A lot of battles and pucks flying around everywhere. Here's Georgia Tech with an opportunity, and once again, they just have too many bodies in deep, but they get it back. Zhang with an opportunity, and he whistled it wide of the goal. Banked off the boards. Good job by Buccigross with Baker to get it out of harm's way. Carrying this one is Braden King for the Yellow Jackets. The Mississauga, Georgia native, and there's a call coming up. It's a holding on, I believe, FAU. And it is. So another power play is coming up for Georgia Tech here. And the holding call will be insisted on Jake Buccigross.
Yeah, FAU doesn't really play a lot of time with their 5 players full strength on the ice. It's a lot of penalty issues early in the season.
And that's something that kind of plagued them in games last year. We talked in the pregame show about how the defense, even though it's the first weekend, had some its rough spots, but they allowed a lot of power play goals to Miami, and when you do that, keeping yourself in the box, it goes without saying, you're just putting yourself at a disadvantage right off the hop. This shot from the point is smothered with no rebound by McMillan. And it's something that a lot of young teams struggle with, especially, right? Sometimes you have to cheat on some plays. Maybe you don't body check correctly. We've seen a little bit of everything from them, from holding to interference. And it's just a learning curve, right, for young players.
Yeah, for sure. All these guys are really young, all freshmen and sophomores, all learning how to play the college hockey sport for the first time.
A very high-octane FAU group when they get going, but when they're on this kill right now, they're getting very busy. That's Carter Baker trying to free up the puck behind the goal. Gets it away from Golick for a moment, and then it's stopped play. I believe they said it went up into the netting here, Wes. I see you getting on one knee on that chair. Tired legs? Tired legs?
Been standing for, 5 hours now?
It's hour number 6 for us here at Owl TV, I think. A little bit more for Mitch Liswith and his production staff, which got here well early before FAU's M2 team took on Florida. 6-0 shutout. Credit to everybody sticking around here on Owl TV. It's a late one. Georgia Tech still on the power play from the end boards. Wants it deeper. They have an opportunity. Cullen Dorcas thought about shooting it. He'll button hook, turn away. Gave it up to Joshua Lee. Assisted on the most recent goal. Lee will just cycle it deeper to the opposite half board. McLean Boyd. Puck ricochets through. Dorcas with a chance. Right pad stop by McMillan. He's out of position, but there was no rebound put forth by Golick. Up to the point now for Boyd. Dorcas with a shot and a glove stop. McMillan saw it the whole way to cover up with 38 to go in the power play.
And as you were mentioning at the beginning of this period, McMillan giving up a lot of those rebounds. That was another one that might have been really scary. Just rebounds right in front of the goal. It was really lucky, really fortunate that an FAU player was right there.
Had a goal last weekend against Kennesaw State. He wins that faceoff draw. They get a shot, and that one sails way high. No chance of an attempt on net for that. And let's see if they put it outside the zone. They won't. Off of, looks like a deflection. Right, a lot of start and stop now. We talked about how fast the first period went, but it's just been a slow crawl through the first 5 minutes gone in the second. Good keeping at the line by Levi Miller. Near corner. Persana frees it up. He's got help with Keschner there, trying to box out Sam Carrazzo gets back in position. Good job by FU clogging up the middle. Power play is over. 1 for 4 goes the Yellow Jackets. Out of the box, racing back into the play. And here's a short side attempt. That one off the skate of the bottom of a Georgia Tech player. Ethan Molnar tries to find room. He gets pressed against the boards, and they will race to this near corner. Nick Antonovsky, and I said earlier it was Jake Buchigras. It was actually Nick Antonovsky who served that holding penalty. First time we've said his name. Tonight, the Toronto, Ontario, Canada native junior. Georgia Tech, some dancing in the neutral zone. They will just get this over the blue line with Zach Keschner, and then immediately coughs it up. It's Connor Strum the other way, and back and forth. Nobody able to gain possession for a long time in the middle of the ice. And now they find room. Here's toe dragging and losing handle, Steckel. Carrazzo presses him. Renzi comes in to help. Renzi still trying to free it up. Carrazzo tried to get it up to the point. Levi Miller held it in. Opposite wing, Molnar put one towards the net, deflected off the back of a own sweater in navy blue and white. Ethan Molnar almost got called for handling the puck with his hand. That one deflected off the crossbar. And a follow-up saved by McMillan. Mere inches away from a 3-1 nod for Georgia Tech. Some solid offensive forechecking right there. And they ice the puck back to their own zone.
And this game's really starting to follow a pattern now of Georgia Tech now starting to become more aggressive and putting more pucks on the net, put more pucks on goal.
Right, just get it to the net because they probably see that stuff breaking down defensively too.
And I'm sure they've noticed that McMillan's been giving up a lot of rebounds, so maybe they're just trying to put it on, hope to get a lucky bounce, lucky rebound, and just put it right in.
The Yellow Jackets could have odd numbers if they hurry. They get it to the middle to McMillan, they score! Levi Miller has his second. And off the face-off, rushed the other way. They extend their lead back to 2.
That was just a great goal off the fast break, right through the 5-hole of McMillan as he's trying to look for maybe a puck up. Perfect play by Levi Miller.
Right place, right time. That one looked like it went under the pads of Matthew McMillan with 11:56 to go in the second period. Next, the time of the goal, 8 minutes and 4 seconds. Levi Miller, very, very impressive. Bethesda, Maryland, the freshman product of St. John's College in Maryland. Played AAA for 5 years with Tri-City and Montgomery. They keep it onside with Zhang. Way in the air the puck goes. Stays inside the playable area. Carter Baker is there. And Ethan Molnar picks up the assist on Levi Miller's goal. Colin Chambliss leaves it for Hildrum, who button hooks. Miscommunication, or rather just unable to reach that puck and hold it on the point was Braden King, and they have to retreat. Andrew Zhang posts up behind his own goal. And Ryan Groff, who has not been really tested at all in this second period. It's been all Yellow Jackets through the first 30 minutes. Mostly Yellow Jackets anyway. This one's coughed up, given back to the Owls, trying to feed an open man. They get it deeper. Penalty coming up here on Georgia Tech, and it's a holding call.
This might end up being the lucky break for the Owls as they really needed a power play here in order to score another goal.
Skating to the box, Andy Hildrum. Third consecutive holding call we've had in this game. Owls have not been able to convert on 2 power play chances in this game. 10:30 to go. That Sam Watson goal unofficially is not a power play goal, although it did come at the end of a man advantage. Here's a shot that never got through from Rothamich. He'll pass it with Watson. Quick moves to break out over the line. They'll give it back to Baker. Wants to feed Watson. This will post up for Renzi behind the goal, but he's intercepted by a quick move by Lee. Colin Chambliss lifts it up but not out. Kept inside by Rothamich. Deep air Watson to Renzi. Wants to feed Rothamich. Shot on Graff. It's up for a moment in grabs, but the slot area is dumped by Georgia Tech, and they will get their first penalty kill group a break. 1:07 left in the minor penalty for holding on Angie Hildrum. Here's Renzi over the line. Got Carozzo in the middle. Poke check. Good play by McLean Boyd. And that foils another break. Matt McMillan will stop the puck. This one's held by Carter Baker. Sam Watson. Sidesteps Renzi. Connects with Carozzo. Feeds it back. Georgia Tech showing a 3-1 penalty kill, sending one forward to Rapp and leaving all 3 back. FAU coming over the blue line. They want to pin this up. It's carried by Lee, and FAU nearly had a shot attempt, but none comes of it. A very stymied power play. Owls want to stretch it out while the Yellow Jackets are changing. Here's John Bayona. Faked the shot, dropped it off for Watson. Watson will take a skate with it. Power play is over. Out of the box comes Hildrum. John Bayona has it back. That's Renzi behind the goal. One-timer, and it's loose. Rothamich trying to put it home. It skitters all the way to the near blue line. Now the Yellow Jackets, Sawyer Howe cuts inside the defense on McMillan with a delayed call. And they are sending an Owl player for a hook.
Yeah, he definitely tripped him at the end of that play, making it so he couldn't get the shot off. It was a really bad break.
Another Owl penalty. That's their 5th of the night, and it's John Bayona who's going to sit. Just a tough move, and he kind of did that almost to prevent the goal from being scored, as Sawyer did a great job to get inside positioning towards McMillan as the net came off. We'll get a face-off draw to the left of him, and it's won by the Yellow Jackets. They have been very good in the face-off. Dot shot from the point, rebound given up, turnaround, and McMillan will glove it from his legs. And even though this second period's been a little bit of a sloppy pace, it's still been mostly Georgia Tech who's carrying the play.
Yeah, we've definitely seen the puck on our right-hand side of the ice basically this entire period. Very limited. Georgia Tech limiting Florida Atlantic's chances.
There's a shot blocked by McLean Boyd. Never got to McMillan. That one did. He made the stop with his chest protector. Stick tap lifted on Lee. They keep it inside. Some quick passes. Kolendorkis to the left side. McMillan scored in a puck. Got help in the middle. Another try foiled by McMillan. He gets a stick to the face, and they're going to say it was his own player from the blue line. Georgia Tech did a great job circling the zone, and they score! Sawyer Howe, second power play goal. It's 4-1.
I think Sawyer Howe did a great job recognizing that there was a player in front of the goal, in front of McMillan, maybe limiting his eyesight and putting it in that left bottom corner. Perfect placement for a goal there.
Time of the goal, 12 minutes and 42 seconds of the second. for the first-year player. He scored his first career goal last weekend against Kennesaw State, and he follows it up in back-to-back performances for the Westchester Wolves alumni AAA program. 7:10 left in the second period, and FAU, deja vu, early part of the year, they've had a trouble allowing goals in the first half of games, being it's only the third of the season. From the point, this one's funneled deeper. Georgia Tech is now 2 for 5 on the man advantage tonight. Oh man, nearly got past McMillan on the back door. That was a good attempt there by Matthew Shane. Yellow Jackets not done yet. Levi Miller circles the trapezoid turnaround shot, and that one stopped by McMillan. They called the whistle because the net came off its moorings.
It's a great stop by McMillan, just recognizing where the puck was and getting in the right spot to stop the puck from going in. I think this is really similar as well to that Miami game to open the season, that AC/DC match, where the score was exactly the same. And FAU did end up coming back, but that was also towards the middle. They started scoring all their goals in the middle of the second period. Maybe this is a little too late for them, as they seemed a bit outmatched against this Georgia Tech team.
And in that game, Miami almost shot themselves in the foot with all of those penalties. And once the ice tilted in FAU's favor, they couldn't be stopped. This one feels a little bit different, though, like you mentioned. Georgia Tech a little bit bigger, a little bit more disciplined, and it's leading to a 4-1 result for now. 5:55 left. Here's Buccigross trying to dance around defenders. The Yellow Jackets will collect out of their own zone. Levi Miller forwards the puck further, giving up to the opposite 19. Backhanded into the offensive zone by Shane from the trapezoid. Stopping is Bryce Malcolm. Malcolm plays it off the end boards. Gives it for Lozaritis. Wanted the stretch pass, intended for Drew Renzi, and he'll go off for a change. The unsuccessful pass. Steckel gets slammed to the boards. Help coming from the follow-up check by Molnar. Yellow Jackets and Chambliss can't hold the line. Good pressure by Lozaritis to force him out. Braden King. And left forward by Connolly, who gets dumped to the ice by Bayona. And they're going to get another penalty on Bayona here for roughing.
I think that's his second roughing, or just second penalty alone in this second period. Very undisciplined, I feel.
I'm counting his third of this game as well. It's Georgia Tech's 6th power play of this game, and that's just something you cannot do in a stage like this. Understanding it's middle part of the game, you're not playing your best hockey, and just an inopportune time to take your third penalty there. It's 4:56 to go.
Giving up bad penalties is the perfect way to pull yourself out of a game, and they don't want to be doing that right now.
Gifting the Yellow Jackets a man advantage for almost half the game time. So to the right circle. Won by Cullen Dorcas. They have been great. He has been specifically in the dots tonight. Jack Golick chases after that puck. Owls do a good job fighting out of that scrum for it. A rare board battle sort of win. And this penalty kill group with the likes of Sam Carozzo, Connor Moriarty, they've been very busy tonight. Shoving down to the ice, Justin Lopes is going to get called for a cross check. Hit a Georgia Tech player to our near corner. Not sure if you saw it, or rather hit it in front of the Georgia Tech bench, but it's going to be 5-on-3 now for Georgia Tech.
Yeah, as I was saying earlier, this game has a really different feel than the Miami game. You mentioned Miami was giving up bad penalties while FAU was coming back, and now FAU's giving up bad penalties while trying to come back. You can't have a 5-and-3 while down 3, trying to come back with 4 minutes left in the second and still a third to go.
And it's not like Georgia Tech is forcing these guys into bad positions or they're getting calls. When you have consistent level like this and how variety the penalties are, it's just simply a lack of focus in some areas. And
maybe even a lack of discipline as well by some of these players.
The lack of discipline from the lead of lack of focus and sticking to a game plan. You get to hear a lead conversation. They're trying to decide who's going to be put on the ice for this. And get the official time on the clock right. 4:22 to go. 2 minutes. There will be 1 minute and 26 seconds of 5-on-3 time before Bayona's let out of the box. Unless, of course, we get another infraction. And then that will be another 34 seconds after that. So Dorcas digs in. And a key face-off win, a rare one by the Owls. Allows them some time to breathe. So, Georgia Tech up to the point. Dorcas. Left side shot. McMillan rebound and almost fished home by Golick for his second. And an errant pass from Dorcas right to an FAU sweater. And Sam Watson clears the length of the ice. 50 seconds to go in the 5-on-3. This one's carried over the blue line. Stopped by McLean Boyd. With Dorcas. Return feed. Use the boards. Good job posting up in front of the net. Left side shot off the side of the goal from Joshua Lee. Dorcas with McLean Boyd. Boyd looks at his options, gives it back to Dorcas now. They'll put it in the high slot with Sawyer Howe. Patient they are. Dorcas thinks about it, winds up. That's blocked by Watson. Heck of an effort for him on the kill. Some quick passes from the right side. A glove leaves it. Here's a shot. McMillan, a great stop going from left to right. Net once again came dislodged. To the frustration of FAU. What do we got here, Wes?
I think number 9. Don't know the player on top of my head.
That's Sam Carozzo.
It's like Sam Carozzo's in the box for an extra 1 minute and 39 seconds. Still 3-man hockey for FAU right now. And then 13 seconds left until they go down to a 5-on-4 power play.
Full transparency, I missed the infraction. They did it so quickly. The way this is going, they might have just said, yep, I know.
Yeah.
We're up to the box. 5-on-3 again. But it's only 4 seconds left until Lopes is let out of the box. Yellow Jackets going to their 8th power play, including the last 2, and a good job to be cleared out of the zone. A race for it. Andrew Rothamich shorthanded. Tried to toe drag and then lost possession of the puck. McLean Boyd and stretch to Sawyer Howe connects. Howe all alone gets through the defense. Shot on goal, whistled it high on top of the left post. Another shot had to be sticked aside by McMillan from the point. Sawyer Howe is having one heck of a game so far. He has been so good alone against these defenders. Cullen Dorcas, follow-up shot, up for grabs, loose in the blue crease area. FAU finally in panic gets it out. I'll tell you what, for the Peachtree Corners Georgia native, he's been taking it to this M3 group that has at times just looked undersized, outmatched. Nice toe drag to the middle and a shot over the shoulder of McMillan from Joshua Lee. 20 to go in the Carozzo penalty. Tech with Justin Yu finds space. Degliambro. And it's flipped into the Georgia Tech bench, and he says that's on me. 9 seconds to go, 1:04 to go in the second period.
And bearing any extra penalties on top of the penalty that they already have with 9 seconds left, FAU will get to play the last 55 seconds of this period at full strength, something we have not seen a lot this game, similar to that Miami game as well.
Face-off draw in the right circle. Sam Watson, clean win. And out of the box goes Carozzo, 2 for 8. And we still have an entire period to play. Watson will chase after this puck, tried to free it up from Steckel. He gets help from his opposing partner in Hildrum. That one from the point. Groff, rare save in this period, as trying to circle the zone. FAU's Lozeritis. They've got 20 seconds to do it. Dancing around, Buccigross gets decked to the ice, but a lane to shoot. Graff the stop with the shoulder. 8 to go in the period for Watson, up to the point. One more try, 4 to go. Lozeritis, no time, and Renzi can't get a centering feed in time. So after 40, Georgia Tech, on a mostly man advantage period, extend the lead. It's 4-1 after 40 minutes. The Yellow Jackets buzzing with 2 goals in this game now for Levi Miller. The latest from Sawyer Howe on the power play. We'll resume in 14.5 minutes. You're watching FAU M3, Georgia Tech M2 on Owl TV. Third period about to get underway between Florida Atlantic, M3, and Georgia Tech, M2. Devin Serra alongside Wesley Moore. 4-1, Georgia Tech. They are, get ready for this, folks, 2 for 8 on the power play in this game. Wes, the main story, the only story really, is that Florida Atlantic has played most of this game a man down, and that does not bode well when you're trying to play a team that's a league above you.
Yeah, definitely playing against the M2 team, Georgia Tech. You're already down 3, especially at the end of last period. You're already down 3. You can't get in a situation where it makes it worse for you. And in that instance, in this case, Florida Atlantic put itself in a position on a 3-on-5 where it wasn't going to score, and it's not going to really change this game. And that's kind of how it's been this entire time with FAU down players. I think they might have only played maybe 4 to 5 minutes of last period at equal advantage with a 5-on-5.
And the shots in that period, as you can expect, were all Georgia Tech, 20-3. They are out shooting the Owls in this game 38-8. So a very one-sided affair. The only goal for FAU in this game from Sam Watson early in the first. And we'll see if they can just keep this thing at an even playing field in this third period to give themselves the chance. Here's Georgia Tech, bouncing puck, rebound behind McMillan. He doesn't know where it's at. He made the stop, but I don't think he saw the second opportunity on the follow-up. Greg Steckel was there, and he's back in his own zone, helping Levi Miller direct the puck up, not out, and now it's carried by Justin Yu. It gets smashed to the boards. Big hit laid out on the far end by Joseph Lozeritis. FAU back the other way. Puck off the stick of Ryan Graff. And nobody could pick up the hanging saucer in the blue paint. Sam Watson, the presumably a point leader for FAU so far, lifts it to the opposite trapezoid. Fresh changes for the Owls. John Bayona comes off the bench. Pass for Hildrum connects. He's got a racing man with their captain Degliamberto there, and a shot attempt in and out of the glove and collected by McMillan.
Yeah, and right out of the gates, Georgia Tech already has a really dangerous opportunity. We've been talking about it all night with McMillan's rebounds. Another one goes right off of him. He's caught out of position. The puck's right in front of him. Just loses sight of the puck. Could have easily been a goal.
Face-off won by the Yellow Jackets. They go D to D. Shot towards McMillan. Deflected, but he made a nice low pad stop. It's Ethan Molinar to chase the corner. John Bayona finds room. Just gets it out for a moment. Right back in comes Posana. And that one is also into the grasp. They're out of play. Right wing draw will get. Andrew Yagoda's squad has had a tough time in the last couple of games. They are nearing what is a very odd spot in this game for being allowed 8 power play goals, or 8 power plays on 2 goals scored with just 18:20 left. There's so much time still left in this game that it almost feels like we're in that 6 or 7 minute mode of third period. And Georgia Tech is just one away from blowing this open. A shot from the point, skitters wide off of Joshua Leeds' stick. Tries another one. That one went off the skate blade of an Owl. And sounds like the puck was deflected out. Stick lost by a Georgia Tech player. And Zach Keschner. What do you think has impressed you the most of this Georgia Tech group, though, considering that they have gotten a variety of pieces involved in the play?
I think the thing that has really impressed me the most is just how many shots they're putting up. Obviously, they outscored FAU. I think it was 27-3. And, yeah, it was 20-3, my bad. But it's just been really impressive. They're looking for those rebounds because they know they're going to be there.
So Sink 3-on-2 develops. Put it in the middle. Trying to feed Cullen Dorcas was Howe, and he missed him. And that looked like they knew exactly what they were going to do with the puck right when they started touching it. Now the Owls back the other way, shot on Graf. First shot sticked away, near corner. Joshua Lee finds it behind the goal. His D-man comes in to help. Tried to clear the zone. Lost it with Connor Moriarty. Carried alone by Dorcas over the line. He'll drop pass for Sawyer Howe. Nice defensive play made by Connor Strum. Leads to a break the other way, with Moriarty losing the puck once again, stolen by Braden King. And one thing I've noticed too is Georgia Tech has done a great job intercepting plays and forcing FAU turnovers, especially when it's a lone FAU player going over the line. It seems like they never get a succinct forecheck developed unless it's a guy like Drew Renzi or Sam Watson carrying the puck. Still a lot of growing pains to do for Andrew Yagoda and this second-year program. They were M3 last year in AAU. McMillan allowed a rebound, and FAU was able to find it in their own slot to get it out of the zone. Andrew Zhang is here. This group was AAU Men's 3 last year, this Owl team. We're planning to become AAU Men's 2, but obviously with the split, that didn't happen. Here comes Dorcas, and he scores on the backhand. A beautiful saucer set up on a platter, and Dorcas has scored his first of the night. I believe that might have been Sawyer Howe who fed it to him.
And I think he also backhanded that right through the 5-hole of the goalie. Great spot to put it right through.
Time of the goal, 3 minutes and 34 seconds of the third. And Dorcas, their leading scorer from a year ago, has now his presumptively 51st point of the season, or rather his career in AAU and ACHA. Point we were going to make at the end of that was that AAU with the split, all of these teams that were in what was going to be the NACHL became ACHA quite abruptly, including these two. And there's Sam Watson, or rather Lozariadis, laying the body. Not giving up in this one, but they are down by a lot. They need a couple in a hurry. Sam Carozzo to the net and roofing it high. Moriarty with a golden cage to shoot at, and he just lifted it high on the backhand.
That was a perfect opportunity on the 2-on-1. Beat the defender. You only have the goalie. Feed it across to Moriarty. Just puts it way too high on the backhand, out of play.
It's been that kind of night for this Owl group. We know, we said they have made comebacks against Miami. And credit to Georgia Tech coming in here and taking care of business where they have needed to when they've been giving the power play opportunities. Although that recent one wasn't even strength. Owls give it up, and it's sent the length by Levi Miller for some more changes on the Georgia Tech side. Sam Watson can't connect. Turned over by Colin Chambliss. Chambliss takes it alone, gets pressed against the boards by Renzi. This one's taken away by Joshua Lee in the middle. What do we got here? Offside? It would seem so. 14:41 to go in this third period. Thanks for sticking with us wherever you're watching, either in Georgia or here in Boca or around greater South Florida. Devin Serra alongside Wes Moore. Final game of the night for us, we had M2 Florida and M2 FAU. 6-0 Owls win. They made a statement with a Rocco Bruno shutout, 42 saves. And the back-to-back reigning player of the year, rather goaltender of the year in College Hockey South, showing why he's that. along with an impressive performance by a couple of returning Owls. Jake Murphy had 2 in that game. Brady Baser, really, really good night. He looked right to form, just like he was last year as a all-conference first team in College Hockey South. This M3 group lost players like Christian Cuccia, Aiden Georgiano, their captain from last year, Anthony Campagne, to the men's 2 team. Although they have succinctly been replaced by guys like Renzi, who are trying to make themselves known and be a quarterback for this forecheck, but it has not gotten going. They're down by 4 in this game. Nothing else. We understand this is also an exhibition, but you want to see these guys improve their game. You want to see them mentally lock in for this third because they have a lot of things to work on.
Yeah, of course, especially with the way that the first 2 periods were played. You had a lot of penalties, you had a lot of turnovers, you had a lot of sloppy play, just pucks in the open, not really settling down. As an exhibition game, this is your perfect opportunity to say, okay, none of that mattered. Let's spend the rest of these 13 minutes and get it right. And even if we only score 1 goal, we can still build on that for our next game, which I believe is in Tampa against USF, I think.
That's correct. Owls will travel to the Bulls and start the game. They have a little bit of an odd schedule there. Like you mentioned, they will go on the road tomorrow to play the Bulls with the reigning M2 MVP from a year ago and Grant Dietz. And then next week they will have a series against Jacksonville ACDC, followed up by Kennesaw State M3. So a weird part of their schedule in the middle, right? We already saw them play Miami ACDC. That game doesn't count for their official standings and rankings. And then they're going to play USF tomorrow in a game that matters, and then a Jacksonville series that is sort of a tune-up for both sides. Jacksonville, of course, a first-year program now, brand new to College Hockey South and the ACHA as an American Collegiate Development Conference team. This is flipped into the FAU bench for a stoppage of play. That's what the whistle is for. And as this season continues, a reminder to watch all games on Owl TV and Boca Ice Center, the new home of your M2 and M3 teams. FAU, of course, the men's 2 team will take on this Georgia Tech team tomorrow, which by all means, FAU M2 looked pretty solid tonight.
Beat a very good Florida team, that's for sure.
Yeah, you'd expect them to kind of have that repeat performance, but this is definitely going to boost the morale of Georgia Tech, who has had a pretty solid start in the first week. 1-1 against Georgia and Kennesaw State, and on their way to go in 2-1 against this men's 3 FAU team. This is held on to and collected by an Owl sweater and Joseph Lozeritis. We did not see Joe Cañero in this game. As you mentioned, he got into a little scuffle post-game whistle or a fight, so we'll see Cañero in South Florida. I believe they have a stream for that one, so you can search up on South Florida's social media pages to find the stream. That game happening from the Advent Health Ice Center in Tampa, the greater Tampa area. And I hope you brought your coffee for next week because we got another late one with Jacksonville, 9:45 for game 1.
Bring plenty of Celsius and plenty of Monster, that's for sure.
I need somebody to hook us up with Celsius. Yeah, forget the coffee. It feels like every sports team in South Florida is sponsored or connected to Celsius in some way. Do you like it?
Oh, I do like Celsius. It's probably one of my favorite energy drinks.
It's pretty good. There's a trip on the Owls, Sam Watson, that's going to get called, and that will bring Georgia Tech to the next power play. While we were yapping there, I was also missed a Jake Buccigross penalty, but
it's all been happening so fast.
Yep.
Everyone's been penalized. This isn't a very good showing.
This is not a barn burner. This is the barn burned down.
Yeah.
And we're picking up the scraps here. I mean, the guys at Boca, I said, they're cleaning the floors here. Everybody here is just kind of ready to go home pretty soon. We still have 11 minutes and 29 seconds left in this game.
And there's 6 minutes till midnight in the next day, so definitely a late one.
Till the next game day for these two teams. So 5-on-3 for the next
another penalty?
1 minute and 25 seconds. Yes, another penalty, Wes.
Is that on Sam Watson?
It is.
15, yeah.
For a trip. Wes just shaking his head behind me. There's a good hit laid out by Connor Moriarty. Georgia Tech just saying, hey, let's get some more here. Why not? Let's improve those numbers and the man advantage a little bit. Nice passing. Here's Sawyer. Winds up wide of the goal. Crashed the end board glass. And we got a whistle. Odd stoppage of play. I wonder if the net came off. There was no infraction. Only thing I saw was that puck hit the end board glass, but it was not bounced out. There is a lot of stoppages of play at this ice arena specifically because the glass hangs roughly 6 to 8 inches shorter than the standard rink height on the half boards all the way to the opposite end. Isn't a good stop by McMillan going from right to left on Cullen Dorcas looking for a second. And it looks like the clock, they did not enact a running clock yet. All the players are screaming clock. There's should be 10:20 or so left. It tickled down about 6 seconds to 10:14. There's 28. They're showing on the 5-on-3 time left. But everybody here is going to let it go. They add 2 seconds, so it'll say 10:22 with, well, now they're getting it right. Okay, here's a linesman and an official gathered at the score stand. They're asking the Georgia Tech bench what exactly time they saw over there with head coach Colin Roberts, his 6th season. A couple of national appearances for this Georgia Tech group. In AAU, but now ACHA. It'll be interesting to see how this team develops. They got a lot better in the offseason with additions on their blue line. Greg Steckel coming into the fray. Sawyer Howe in his first season as a Yellow Jacket seems to be a very solid puck carrier for them, number 87. And obviously with Cullen Dorcas, this top group and this power play group look real good. There's an opportunity for Sawyer, and they score. As crashing in front, McMillan could not pick up a rebound with help coming, and it's a goal for Jack Golick, his 2nd of the night, and his 2nd power play goal.
Yeah, you can see FAU players are definitely frustrated. Again, we've been talking about this on the stream this entire time. The rebounds that Matt McMillan has given up are leading to goals, and that's just another example of a rebound being popped up into the goal.
3rd power play goal of the night for Georgia Tech. And we're talking about Georgia Tech players that look real good for them. Jack Golick, team leader in goals last year. He had a hat trick against Kennesaw State last weekend. So make that 5 goals so far in 2 games. Over the blue line, Yellow Jackets get onto the attack once more. Andrew Zhang. FAU. Turn around from the end board. Almost held in at the line, but carried back in by Molnar. He's chased after by FAU defender. Keep thinking Drew Renzi's wearing 7. He's not. He's wearing number 11. Here from the point, off a skate blade. Deflected wide to the far corner. Under Molnar, who gives it up to the point. Deflected shot once again coming through. Streaking man Matthew Shane. Hampton, Maryland, or Hampton, Maine native as the penalty expires on Sam Watson. So 3 for 10. It's Georgia Tech on the man advantages. FAU is only 0 for 3. Unable to connect on any of those power play goals. 8:44 left, freshman on the ice. Here comes Ethan Molnar. Gets past the defense. Sharp angle backhand try. Foiled by McMillan easily on his right post. Molnar still has it, though. He'll cycle it up to the point. Kept deeper by Braden King high to low. They'll tag with FAU forwards swarming them. And played out of the zone. Connor Strum gets his line changed. John Bayona comes out there. Here's Andrew Rothamich. Gets over the red line, cuts it deeper, and some more changes. But are they calling this? Calling FAU players back. They rode that in icing. Okay. Very interesting icing. They're going to say Rothamich did not gain the red line before he backhanded it to behind the trapezoid of Ryan Graff. 8:10 to go in this game. Georgia Tech handling this one 6-1. 2-goal performance tonight for Jack Golick, both on the power play, as well as Levi Miller. There's a shot on Graff, a rare opportunity on a rush, and he stops that with no rebound. And a timeout is called, I believe, by Andrew Yagoda's squad. You know, as we take a timeout, and as disappointing as that score reads here, Wes, talk to me about potentially the silver linings. Seeing that they had less penalty time in the third, and you know that Miami overtime comeback was pretty impressive in itself. It feels like they've got something brewing here with guys like Rothamich, Renzi, obviously, and John Bayona's been impressive with the way he's been able to carry the puck.
Yeah, there's been definitely some bright spots with this team. Maybe not as much seen today as much as the other two games, but we've already seen in the first two games that this team is an offensive juggernaut. You mentioned Rothamich. You can also mention Buchagras, even Lozeritis, Renzi, all those kind of guys that can handle the puck very well, can score, and can put up goals. This game obviously kind of an outlier in that only putting up one goal with 7-8 minutes left in the third period. But yeah, this team can put up goals. I think that is one of the bright spots. They just need to work on penalties and their defense.
No doubt. I feel like it starts from their blue line in, right? And they have some pretty experienced defenders on this team with Sam Carozzo. Buchagras, of course, looked pretty good last year. If they can get these guys playing a little more succinct and have clean breakouts, it's a much different story with this group. And there's only so much you can look at as potentially outliers to them with an M2 group like Georgia Tech that, let's be honest, looks a little bit bigger, a little bit more put together. And I think that's where Andrew Yagoda talked to us about before the season, was that against those teams that are a little more organized and structured, that's where they suffer.
Yeah, definitely. He also mentioned that he wanted to stay out of like a slugfest kind of hockey because he knew that they're a smaller team and they won't be able to keep up with that hard-hitting bigger guys.
Yeah, they won't be able to grind out games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he stressed playing a fast, a quick, very even-keeled game, very structured defense is what he preached to his team and what he told us that he preached to his team.
For sure, and you see there's a lot of room for improvement, but there are good spots. And this group specifically with Sam Watson has been really solid. Joseph Lozeritis, you mentioned. And look at the effort Watson sets for his team. As a turnover is caused, the shot towards Graff goes well high, and it's flipped in an opportune place for him to glove it and stop play. Drew Renzi there wearing number 11. What stands out the most to you about Renzi in the fact that he quarterbacks this forecheck?
I think Renzi's really good. He, first of all, just leads by example. Just watching, I think he's one of the hardest hitting guys here. But he's also really quick. He's really fast. He can move the puck. He sees the ice very well. He knows what position his players need to be in order for them to succeed. And sees them in a spot where they can succeed and possibly get a puck in.
And you know what? It's almost, I'm a little glad to see him frustrated at times because that means he cares. And that means that he sees the potential in this group and he wants better of them. There's a shot. I went off the mask of Ryan Graff, and it kicks all the way to the half boards where it's finally put out to the neutral zone by Keegan Goodell. I mean, Andrea Goda said it, if Drew Renzi has the type of year where he's got double the assists or even triple as goals, they're going to be in a really good spot. It's just when they play bigger opponents that have the size advantage and potentially the experience, that's when they struggle to get their game going. And, of course, the penalties are what is going to be the story of this one, with a Georgia Tech group that went 3 for 10 on this game. As we get into the witching hour of this one. It's officially past midnight, 12:05 Eastern time. For this Georgia Tech group, of course, they will take on FAU tomorrow, the men's 2 team. You can catch us at 4:30 p.m. Eastern time on Owl TV. Wes and I will be on the call and have pregame coverage for you starting roughly at 4:20 p.m. And the Georgia Tech team, we'll talk about it now and more tomorrow. This schedule for them doesn't seem to get much easier. They're going to go and take on Auburn after a little bit of a week break following the FAU series. And they'll be against an Alabama team that is hungry after losing the Iron Cup to Auburn at the start of this season. Of course, they are an ACC team in men's 2, and that is a very deep conference that they will have to compete in. High slot chance. That one whistles well wide from Jack Golick. Up at the point, Braden King, good hold in at the line. Shot towards McMillan, stick to side. Backhand roofer, McMillan says no. Off his chest protector. Flipped up to the blue line and into the glove of McMillan. And 5:06 reads the clock before we are all free to go home. Or go to bed.
Get a good night's sleep before tomorrow's game. Rest the voice.
That's right.
Drink plenty of water.
And with the way Florida Atlantic looked, Georgia Tech fans, tomorrow may be a very big game for their schedule.
Might be interesting to watch for sure.
Yeah, considering, this Georgia Tech team is going to have a much harder battle to make A, regionals in ACHA, and B, nationals if we get to that point. It's a very small field. Only 16 teams go to the national tournament in St. Louis. And if you're somebody that's watched AAU hockey and CHF, College Hockey Federation hockey, for the last half decade or so, that might seem a little nuanced to you. The fact that there's over 180 teams in men's Division II, but in order to qualify, not only do you almost have to be a conference winner, but you have got to take care of business against teams that have the strength of schedule.
Definitely.
And we don't know yet exactly what a team like FAU is going to have in that strength of schedule. We know they have the talent for sure, but it's the fact that they play a team like Florida and Tampa as many as 6 times both before playing some M2 teams here and there, like a Georgia Tech and others.
And part of that struggle was just how sudden the move to Acha was. That just made scheduling difficult to...
Yeah, really no time at all to play the teams you want. You're kind of stuck where you're at. And I think that's something these teams are going to address, even talking going into next year. But there's still an opportunity for both of these teams to potentially go where they want to. Here's a attempt from the point, deflected wide. That came from Levi Miller, the freshman. Battle ensues in that far corner. It's fished free. Racing up ice on the break, the Owls. And they're going to say they were offside. Face off in the neutral zone. Now, thing is, I believe the EMS2 team is wearing white jerseys tomorrow, so I hope this Georgia Tech group, I'm pretty sure they did, brought some gold or blues.
That would be a confusing game.
Sterling, if you're sitting there at home still watching this absolute gong show, please let us know if Georgia Tech brought their blue or gold sets. I will say this team has some beautiful navy blue jerseys with the Georgia Tech on the front.
Those jerseys are sick. I just saw that.
Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
Said those jerseys are sick. I just saw that on your phone. That's really cool how they have like the full navy and then it's like a gold metallic GT on the front. Those are sick jerseys.
Yeah, these are nice ones too. I'm really a sucker for the ones that go like Ranger style,
Yeah,
diagonally.
like the old-fashioned kind of 90s kind of style.
Jackets on the front. It's a very cool brand. I think Georgia Tech's one of the most underrated. But then again, I'm kind of a sucker for that cream look. Anything that has the little bit of gold to it. 12:09 Eastern time. Here's FAU with a chance, and Rothamich gets pushed into by a number of players in the white and gold sweaters. As we are just getting this one all wrapped up here at Boca Ice. We appreciate all 74 of you sticking around for this one. You did not have to. But if you're a Georgia Tech fan, you're very pleased with this one tonight. Handling a men's 3 team that has got to find more discipline as we get into this season. Here's a chance for Watson and a nice glove stop by Ryan Graff, the Potomac, Maryland native. And you know, Georgia Tech fans are really high on Ryan Graff this year. Of course, they graduated their longtime goaltender in Brendan Germano, who stood on his head most nights. Basically kept them in a lot of games they shouldn't have been against high-caliber opponents. And it got them as far as a Nationals appearance. .159 to go in this game. Last forecheck opportunity for the Owls. Here's Sam Carozzo. It's good to see their effort has not hindered, Wes. You can't take that away from this group tonight.
Yeah, for sure.
Nice glove down by Ryan Graff. And he'll give a look to Drew Renzi. Renzi wearing number 11. He's a leader on this team for sure. And just a night that he's going to want to forget. 1:43 to go. Face off to the right circle in Georgia Tech's zone. It's won by the Yellow Jackets. Connor Moriarty tries to hold the line. He does. Here's Sam Watson. Went through the grasp of Moriarty, and that causes an icing because it was not touched past the red line. Reminder to join us. We will have a quick post game here, so we'll tell you tomorrow. Georgia Tech versus M2 FAU, 4:30 p.m. Eastern time here on Owl TV. This men's 3 group travels, as we mentioned earlier, to South Florida to take on the Bulls. Not sure of the exact time there, but head to our social pages, FAU Hockey M3 and FAU Hockey M2 for those. On Instagram, X, wherever you may get your news. And, of course, FAU M2 is not done. They have a 3-game weekend, finishing up with Florida on Sunday from Baptist Health Iceplex in Fort Lauderdale. As it's an offside, 57 seconds to go. This is the longest 2 minutes ever, ain't it?
It really is.
We are counting down the clock.
It's late. We've been here since 5:30.
Yeah.
5:30, 6 o'clock. Well, been broadcasting since 6 o'clock. Definitely been some good hockey, some bad hockey, but
it's all for the love of the game.
For sure, for sure.
Credit to this entire FAU operations staff that has also stuck around tonight. Our producer, Mitch Liswith, our production team at Owl TV, doing a great job. There's one last opportunity. Unsuccessful with Graff making the stop there. He has had a solid enough night, and he will be playing tomorrow as well against M2. Turnaround try. Never got to the front of the net. Went through an FAU body. Banked off the end board glass. Yellow Jackets stymie up one more attack, but it's out of the zone. One last opportunity for Buccigross towards the net, and Graff gets that one aside. So a 6-1 win. The Yellow Jackets take care of the Owls. 3 power play goals, 2 of them in this game by Jack Golick, 2 even strengths added on by Levi Miller, and a lone power play goal by Sawyer Howe lead the way as they defeat the M3 Owls in this one. Only goal for FAU scored by Sam Watson late in the first period. FAU finishes 0 for 3 on the power play. Georgia Tech 3 for 10. And let's see if I get sent the final shots. Georgia Tech 9 in that period, FAU 8. Georgia Tech finishes with 47 shots to just FAU's 16. So, that's going to do it for us here from Boca Ice. Wes Moore, final thoughts on what was a rough night for M3.
I think it was just penalties that really changed what this game was. It was relatively close, 2-1, coming up until the middle of the second period when those penalties started to really stack on. You could tell it, a lot of 5-on-3 puck, a lot of man disadvantages throughout the rest of this game that just made the hole too big to climb out of.
Yeah, a hole that's certainly going to be sitting there in the void for the next 20 hours or so. They got to turn around and go to South Florida to take on a group that is playing pretty good hockey, and they took on Florida Southern tonight. Not sure of the results of that one, but head to collegehockeysouth.com for all updates there. Be sure to follow our social media pages for all updates regarding M3 Owls on FAU Hockey Club D3. So that's going to do it for this Friday night from Boca Ice, and Saturday morning now officially Eastern Time. For Devin Serra, Wes Moore, Mitch Liswith, and our entire Owl TV production crew, thanks for sticking around with us. Final score, Georgia Tech 6, FAU Men's 3 1. Thanks for watching, and have a wonderful night.